Aston Villa overperformed this season. The team is among the leaders of the Premier League and has also secured a strong position near the top of the Europa League table. Honestly, none of this comes as a surprise. We're talking about a really solid squad, led by one of the Premier League's top coaches, who took Aston Villa to 6th place last season and got them into the Champions League with a 4th place finish the year before. But what about this season? Villa's season got off to a rough start. The team managed to pick up just 3 points from their first 5 league matches, with 3 draws and 2 defeats. In the very first match against Newcastle, a draw felt like a win, as Newcastle completely outscored the home team, that is confirmed by statistics. Then came a narrow loss away to Brentford, followed by getting hammered at home by Crystal Palace. An away draw with Everton, elimination from the English League Cup, failed to secure a victory against Sunderland that was down to 10 men in the first half, that all looked like it would never end. But things began to improve for Villa after that game as they won 11 games in their next 13 matches. But what is the reason for this success? Nowadays, football is analyzed by modern technology. In-depth match analysis helps us get a more comprehensive picture of what we see on the pitch. Of course, it's important to keep in mind that this data isn't always objective and may not reflect reality, as it doesn't take many factors into account. However, if you look at Aston Villa's statistics in the Premier League, the first thing that stands out is their XG stats, which equals 11.88, despite the team having found the net 16 times. So, what's really happening here is Villa just aren't generating a lot of those obvious high-quality chances, at least not the kind that XG models count. Moreover, stats like these don't even count the chances that were not turned into shots, which just goes to show how stats can miss the full story. Still, this whole situation pushes us to look closer at how Villa are actually scores. Here's something interesting. Out of their 16 goals, 9 came from outside the penalty box. That's 56%. That is absolutely wild. This season, Villa's really made a name for themselves with long-range shots. In fact, this is precisely what the team's statistics reflect, as long-range shots are typically valued at low XG, but the skill of their players makes them a dangerous weapon for the team. They've already scored 9 goals from outside the box in just 13 matches. Awesome result. On average, that's 0.69 goals per game from distance. If they keep this up, they'll smash the single-season record for goals outside the area, which has stood since 2003-2004. Chelsea set that mark with 23 goals in 2006-2007, averaging 0.61 per game. Villa are on pace to go well beyond that. Long-range shots are starting to play a big role in Aston Villa's attack. On the other hand, the lack of variety is concerning, something any team could benefit from. If Villa find ways to get into the box more often and actually finish those chances, their position could improve significantly, which would help them over the long term. Let's take a look at expected goals against. Things don't quite line up with what's actually happened. Villa's given up an average of 16.80 expected goals over 13 matches but have conceded only 11. Sure, maybe some opponents just wasted good chances. Still, most of the credit goes to Emiliano Martínez, who is having a strong season with 1.4 goals prevented and 77% save rate. That is the second result. Moreover, Villa has only let in 10 non-penalty goals so far, which puts them right behind Arsenal as the league's second strongest defense. After all this numbers, we can still find another shocking part of the team's stats. The expected points table uses XG from both shots taken and faced. What's wild is how far apart Villa's numbers are. The expected points have them sitting 19th, but in real life, they're up in 4th. That's a huge gap. Now, I'd like to move on from the Premier League to the Europa League, where Villa's position looks much more solid as they are predicted to be the main contenders for the trophy. After 5 matches, Villa have 12 points. That makes me strongly believe they can get to the round of 16 straight through the league phase without taking part in the knockout playoffs. In this competition, their stats do not look so weird. Solid performance and a confident move to the top, though Villa still scored twice from distance. The first one came from McGinn in the game against Bologna, and the second was scored by Buendia in a away game against Feyenoord. So Villa looks solid right now. The squad's strong, the coaching staff knows what they're doing. If they can mix things up a bit more when going forward, they'll go far this season. Honestly, do you see them lifting the Europa League trophy? Or maybe even grabbing a Champions League spot? Share what you think in the comments below. If you've liked this video, Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you soon.